Welcome back to Andrea Fontana Beauty. We're doing a fun video today. It's a lazy day. I'm in pajamas still, drinking my coffee. I'm actually pretty excited for today's video because I just kind of decided a few minutes ago what I'm gonna do, and I think it's gonna be fun. So in case you didn't know, if you're new to my channel, I have a rotation. I've started this, I'm calling it my current makeup rotation, and it's an effort. I'm not the one who came up with this. I'm sure you've seen videos like this before. It's an effort to use all the products that are in our collection. So by choosing a current makeup rotation, I'm kind of focusing on a couple palettes or specific products that I want to try or that I want to use, so that it feels, also the reason I do it is to kind of reduce the overwhelm of looking at my entire collection and trying to decide how I want to do my makeup. So by having this smaller curated collection, it feels like it's much more attainable to do a quick and easy makeup look in the morning. So that being said, just gonna throw a headband on so that my hair stays out of my face. I currently have about, I think I have 5 palettes right now in my current makeup rotation, which I know to some people may seem like a lot, but when you have over 80 palettes, having just 5 to choose from is a lot easier. So 3 of the palettes that I currently have in my rotation are the Saharan by Juvia's Place, beautiful. Sonic Bloom by ColourPop, also beautiful. And the Saga of Freya by Odin's Eye, which is this really cool, like, book-like 2-part front and back palette, which I've been loving. But since I'm just filming today and I'm not going anywhere, I just want to play with some makeup, you know? Which is kind of how I feel when I'm in my pajamas and just working from home. So what I'm thinking is all of these palettes have some like tealish green shades, and I'm thinking we're gonna do like a deep teal look. I love a teal look for the holidays. I have really been in love with this green. It's like a true Kelly green. It's the shade Defend in the Odin's Eye palette, and I really would like to use it. So that's our mission. We're going to create a look fun for like a holiday party or something. So today is November 9th, and I really think I might get my Christmas decorations up tomorrow. I don't know. I have a lot of things that I need to do before I can think about Christmas, so it'll most likely happen next week. Let's get started. So I really like this new angle that I've found for filming. You guys will have to let me know what you think, but we're going to start with my brows. I'm just gonna use my usual So I just took a little bit of the, why was I gonna say NARS? The NYX Micro Brow Pencil in black. Next, we're gonna go in with the Fenty Pro Filter Amplifying Eye Primer. I finally can remember the name of it because I have typed it out in a description box so many times. Okay, so we're gonna apply that all over the lid and brow bone. We're gonna take the shade Field Trip, which is this lightest shade in the Sonic Bloom palette, and we are going to lightly dust that all over the lid and brow bone just to set everything. Okay, we're gonna go in with that beautiful green shade. We're just starting out with a bang, okay? This is a very fluffy brush, and I'm putting the slightest bit on. And I'm gonna do kind of like a really high crease with this. So I'm taking it, I'm using hardly any product, and look how pigmented that is. And it blends so easily. Just like that. Blending it into the crease. Same thing on the other side. So I'm focusing most of it right in the crease, and then I'm blending upwards so that it has a nice fade. Okay. So next I'm gonna go in with the shade Katsina, which is this like, I guess if you had to pick, it's more on the warmer side, but it's a very neutral medium brown tone. And we're gonna take that on a slightly smaller, but still very fluffy brush. And we're gonna buff that into the outer corner. We're kind of like mapping out the dimension and the shape that we want to create, because this is going to get a lot darker. But this is just going to allow us to have something to blend the darker shades into so that it's a lot easier and a lot more seamless. So we've kind of darkened it up on the outside there. Next I'm going to go in with this Lunar Disco, which is another medium toned brown. Same brush, and I'm just going to press that into the outer corner, deepening it up. Stay with me. I know this looks real crazy. Looks always have to look nuts before they get better like this, especially colorful looks. Love. Okay. So now, what shade do we want to deepen up with? I don't want to go too warm, because if we mix the really cool toned green with something too warm, it's going to start looking muddy and gray and weird. Can't decide. There's not really a good deep brown, which is kind of surprising in these three. Like, it's only a really, so you know what? We're just gonna go with the really dark brown. So I'm gonna take a pencil, like a smudger pencil brush, and I'm gonna use the color Strength, which is this matte. It honestly looks it's not black. It's just a very deep brown, and we're gonna take just a little bit on a pencil brush so that we can place it. And we're gonna place it right in that outer V. And then take our same brush that we were just using, and that'll help blend it. So we're gonna slowly build this up so that we get the darkness that we want on the outside. So I'm gonna do it again, where we place, and then we blend it out. Make sure we're even. Okay, now for the fun part. Okay, we're gonna start by spraying our brush with some Fix Plus, and we're gonna go into this shade Kia, which is a duochrome. It's a deep brown with a teal shift, and we're gonna place this on in the center of the lid, and then blend it towards that darkness there. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side like that, leaving the front end open. And then we're gonna go back in with our same blending brush that we were just using, and we're just gonna buff out that edge. Okay, it's again gonna look crazy for a moment. I'm gonna go back in. I'm skipping the pencil brush this time because I just want the impact, and I really want to deepen it up. And we're gonna go in with Strength, that same brown, and we're just gonna further blend it. I'm going back in with that first brush that I used that was angled, just to make sure that we're nice and blended on the outside here. We're gonna take the shade Verbena. Okay, so I would say that the shade we just used from the Juvia's Place palette is more of a teal with a slight brown to it. It's not quite as duochrome as I was thinking. I was more thinking of this one, which is showing up much more blue, but it's definitely more of a brown with a teal shift. So I'm gonna take, so you can see, it's so pretty. We're gonna actually do that on the first third of the lid, so that area that we left blank. And I'm just gonna my ring finger, kind of placing and then like blending it into the middle of the lid. You see that? It's so pretty. Look at that. I'm going to go, what do I want to use? I'm going to go back in with my blending brush. It has no color on it right now, and I'm just blending things out. One thing I am going to do to kind of, you can kind of see we lost some of that green that we initially started with, which is totally normal to lose. But I kind of like to go back in at the end, taking that same fluffy brush, and I'm going to go in with, again, a little bit of it and just pop it through. It's not going to be quite as green as obviously when you're putting it on in the beginning, but I kind of like this coolness that it brings to the crease. I think it looks really pretty. It's just adding extra dimension and kind of blending everything together, which I personally love. Okay. Now that we've done that, I want to go in and add, I'm going back in with that first shade Field Trip, the slightest bit on that same angled, and I'm buffing out, oop, you can't see me. Buffing out the edges. Like that. And then since we lost a little bit of our duochrome, re-popping that in. The inner thirds. Ugh. I feel like this looks like winter teal tie-dye. I know that probably sounds very strange, but I'm sure you can see it better when I'm looking down. It looks so cool. I really hope that you guys can see all the different dimensions because it kind of reminds me of a mood ring. Is that maybe what it's reminding me of? It's almost like purpley blue through the front, teal in the middle, green on the lid, and then like dark gray brown in the crease or in the outer corner. I don't know. I hope it's showing up because it looks really cool in person. Okay, we're gonna finish the rest of the face. We're going to be using the Ordinary's High Coverage Foundation. I'm gonna put a squeeze of that on the back of my hand, or a pump rather. Squeeze. And equal parts True Match Lumi Glotion from L'Oreal. You know the drill. And we're just gonna mix it up. Apply it to the face. Something that's very important to note when you're doing an eye that is different, or like a little, like maybe you're using colors and you don't normally use colors, or you're just trying a different technique. If you are used to doing your eyes first, it's always gonna look so much better once you have the rest of your makeup on. So, highly encourage, if you feel like you don't like a look, to just finish the makeup and then come back and judge it and see if you can tweak it to more of your liking, or, you know, adjust things to where you want them. Because 9 times out of 10, if I think a makeup look like I'm like, meh, it's okay, it's not my favorite, by the time I put the rest of my makeup on, I'm like, oh, just kidding. I actually do love this. It's very jewel toned. I truly feel like my eyes are like a crystal. So now that we've got that on, what concealer do I want to use? So my two options are the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, which is more coverage, which is why I kind of want to wear it, because I feel like this is more of a full coverage look. But we're going to go with the Maybelline Fit Me. I have the shade Vanilla because I've just not been using it as much as I want to, and that's like the whole point of this makeup rotation. I'll link these below. These are little velour puffs that I found on Amazon. And this has been my favorite way when I want a little bit more coverage to do, to set my under eye. I have some Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I simply dip the powder, or the puff in the powder, and then I go on the back of my hand and swirl it around so that it goes into the powder. And then we just press. Do you see how that just like, it makes things look so nice and smooth. Same thing on the other side. Center of the forehead. Anywhere I normally set, I just press. And it does such a good job. Okay, I am gonna take my finger because I got some foundation. Okay, I got some foundation up there. e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in Honey Drip. And we're gonna do a little bronzing up the face. Next, we're gonna go in with my Juvia's Place Blush Volume 1 palette, and we're gonna use the top shade because it's more of a berry. And I'm literally gonna press this into the blush once because they are that pigmented. And just blending that in. I'm gonna go in with the brush that I usually use to set my under eyes. And we're just gonna buff out any harsh edges. Okay, before we do my highlighter, I wanna do the under eye blend. So what I think I wanna do, we're gonna start with this initial shade that we used on the inner third of the, so this is the shade Verbena. And we're gonna take a small pencil brush and we're gonna do that on the inner half. So we're gonna go, okay, so you're gonna do that all the way across. You're gonna take this shade Kia, which came from the Juvia's Place, which is the center. And we're gonna do that on the outer half. We're then gonna go back in with the brush that I usually use for setting under the eyes. And we're just gonna blend that a little bit so that we get a nice blend and a nice fade. There we go. This side feels darker to me. I'm just taking a little bit more of that Kia color on that side under the eye. Yeah, that feels better. Lastly, I'm gonna take this really icy, cool white shade right here. That would be the perfect inner highlight color. So I'm gonna take my pinky, and I have the slightest little bit on my pinky, and we're gonna put that in our inner corner. Just like that. And kind of blend it out. If it feels like it's too much, you can again go back in with this brush and kind of just like barely tap it. So pretty. All right, we're done with the eyes. We're gonna do our highlighter. This is, unfortunately, the product I have in my stash is one that is discontinued. This was a limited edition MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in Perfect Topping, but I love it because it's really cool toned. So it's got some like blues and purples. I don't know if it's gonna focus. There you go. Can you see the like coolness to it? Really pretty. It's got some purples if you look at it up close. And I'm just gonna take a fluffy highlighting brush and again, everything's kind of cool and frosty. So pretty. If you don't want this intense of a inner corner pop, you could also go in with your highlighter. I do that all the time so that it's a little more subtle. I'm really loving how this is turning out. Okay, definitely feels like mood ring. I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna do my mascara and then I'll come back and we're gonna put on one of my favorite lip products, I think. I haven't decided yet. I think we're gonna go with Ferris Nude, which is like my go-to L'Oreal nude, but we'll see. BRB, I'm back. We're gonna put on a little bit of, this is a brand new tube because I used up my previous one. It's just a classic for me. This is the L'Oreal Color Riche number 800 Ferris Nude. And it's a really beautiful shade. And that's the finished look. What do we think? It's definitely a very cool toned look. I'm normally such a warm toned girl, but I really like this. I think the eyes turned out really cool. I'll kind of move back and forth so you can hopefully see like the duochrome and the shift in the shadows, but I definitely feel like I am a mood ring. Maybe I'll be a mood ring for Halloween next year and recreate this. Or you could be, if you're watching this and it's Halloween time, or you're thinking of a Halloween costume, be a mood ring. How cool would that be? And then wear clothes that like shift colors. I might have just come up with my costume for next year. We'll see. That's the look. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel down below and like the video. I don't know why all the words are just escaping me today, but I hope you're having a wonderful day and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that it has inspired you to play with some of the colors that you don't normally gravitate towards in the eyeshadow palettes that you might use all the time. You can create something really super fun, and I mean, from a distance this isn't that colorful. It's not till you get up close and you really look at all the individual shades that you realize that there's actually color to it. So it's a fun way to wear color that feels more winter, deeper, not quite as intense and bright. So have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time. Bye.